It's finals time on EFL TV, and it's all thanks to Ferntree, Gully, Holden and HSV, your local community dealer. G'day everybody, and welcome to another edition of EFL TV Finals in 3 of the divvies this week. So very, very excited. The Choose Tap Final Series will be up and about to talk us all through that. We've got Benny Waterworth with us from the EFL media team. G'day, Benny.
Hello, Daniel. Nice to see you again. Choose Tap Finals time, as you said. Very, very excited. I'm struggling to hide it, but I'll hide it just for you right now because we've got 6 games to get through, a few interviews, and What's Hurting Merton, of course.
Of course, What's Hurting Merton. Looking forward to that a little bit later on. I'm about to lose control, and I think you like it, Benny, too, so just be careful about that. Finals, both days, Saturday, Sunday. Yes. Let's look at Saturday first, if you don't mind. We've got the qualifying final in Divi 4 between South Belgrave and Sylvan. Now, South Belgrave on the ladder after home and away, and a few more comfortable wins up their sleeve, but they can't take Sylvan lightly.
No, they can't, because Sylvan have got 2 of the best forwards in Division 4. You know very well about Ash Froud, who's been in fantastic goalkeeping form this year, and Dan Toohey up forward as well. Ooh. Recently won Sylvan's best and fairest. But look, I think you've got to go with experience here. South Belgrave have been in the finals for the past couple of years. They haven't been too impressive during that time, but I think they're setting themselves for a good Choose Tap Finals campaign, so South Belgrave for mine.
South Belgrave, okay, to win that first one. In Divi 3 on Saturday, the qualifying final is the Glen Waverley Hawks taking on the Baronia Hawks. It's a Hawk Fest again. We love it. Who's going to win?
We love the Hawk off. I think the Glen Waverley Hawks will win, but Dan Senchik ventured out to Tormore Reserve and had a chat with Baronia coach Drew O'Hare. He had other ideas.
Yes, welcome out to Tormore Reserve. We're here with the coach of the Baronia Hawks, Drew O'Hare. Look, Drew, big game coming up this weekend, and the finals are a whole new ball game. The great thing about this week is, despite previous results throughout the season, it's a clean slate and counts for nothing in the finals.
It does. Finals are a different ball game. It's always exciting to make the finals and get into post-season. There's 7 other sides that would love to be where we are, and we go in this week full of confidence.
First time you played them this year was a close result. Is there anything you take out of that game, to take the next step and get a win against the Glen Waverley Hawks? I mean, what did the side do differently that day that they didn't do a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, the first time we played them at home at Tormore, so that was a bit of an advantage, and obviously it was early in the season, so I guess the Glen Waverley Hawks were probably getting a bit used to 3rd Division. We dominated the game for a period of the day, and we got off to a much better start than we did a few weeks back. So I think our starts certainly over the last few weeks have been probably our weakness, although last week against Churnside we got a good start and got the result. So certainly the start will be all important, and we'll be aiming to sort of get a much better start.
Glen Waverley Hawks have got plenty of good players in their side, and their forward line's just one of those game-breaking areas. There's been plenty of discussion this week about matchups thrown around in order to negate their effective goal kickers.
Yeah, and I think that's an area that they've dominated all season. They've got 3 or 4 avenues to goal that certainly a couple of weeks ago, Danny Gray kicked 7, as a party kicked 9, and took us to school. So, yeah, we've got some ideas on who will play. We've got a couple of ins that will come back into the side. A couple of guys came back into the side a few weeks ago that was their first game back. So hopefully they'll be better for the run, and we'll certainly go in this week full of confidence that we can shut those guys down.
One of the big Glen Waverley Hawks players that troubles a lot of sides is Fia Toohey. He came back into the side the week you boys played them. What's the plan for him this weekend?
We will discuss that and talk about the plans we're going to take in on Saturday, but he's a fantastic player. He's one of their keys. He plays off half-back incredibly well, reads the play amazingly. Obviously super strong and very agile for a big bloke, so he's a real challenge for us, and we'll certainly look to cover him for the 4 quarters.
Glen Waverley Hawks also have to worry about your boys. I mean, blokes like Smith, Heath, McKernan, Felino's another one, to name a few. How have these boys been training coming into the finals?
Yeah, really well. We've actually hit a bit of form the last couple of weeks, probably getting back to the form that we had earlier in the season, and training's been fantastic, and we've actually just about got a clean bill of health. Most of the boys are back. Finals always tends to get over injuries pretty quick, but we've got a good list to pick from, and certainly I think the side will be a little bit different to what played Glen Waverley a few weeks back.
How's the mood been around the club this season? I mean, they've got some great results so far this season, the Hawks. I mean, is the belief through the roof?
Yeah, absolutely. The Twos have been a successful unit for a couple of years now, obviously coming off the back of winning the flag last year. The 19s are in the in 3rd spot as well, so they've got the double chance as well, and obviously the seniors have been carrying on their form from the last couple of years. They're playing finals again, so that's all you can ask for as a senior club. We've got a lot of good players here who are really looking forward to the opportunity to play finals and give it a real good crack.
I reckon Boronia have kind of flown under the radar coming into the finals. We know about North Ringwood's fight for a flag this season, and Glen Waverley Hawks are a great side as well. Does this suit you as a coach, flying under the radar coming into the finals? The side's just been going about their business and perhaps could take a few sides by surprise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always an advantage, I think, to come in as in the underdog, but I think that North Ringwood and Glen Waverley have clearly been the better sides of the year, so they deserve to sort of have a bit of favouritism around those sides. But I think all the sides in the five could give it a real shake. Certainly will go in full of confidence, but I know that Ringwood obviously have been in great form of recent times, as have Mitcham, coming home strong and done everything right to get in the finals. And once you get to the finals, it's a great opportunity to have a real go at it.
Drew O'Hare, thanks for joining us on EFL TV.
No worries at all.
Thanks, Dan, and thanks to Drew O'Hare for his time. But in my opinion, the Glen Waverley Hawks will win Hawk off 3. I think they've got too much firepower up forward, and they've been the better team all season. So Glen Waverley for mine, half.
Okay, Glen Waverley, too good, we think, at this stage. Now, Divi 2, we've got Roval taking on Montrose. This is going to be a very interesting game, possibly a grand final preview, I would have thought, Benny.
Possibly. It's 1 versus 2 halves, so a big chance for that. Of course, the winner of this game goes straight through to the Division 2 Choose Tap grand final. But Roval for mine. They've got the younger legs, and I think that'll sort of find Montrose out a little bit. Montrose have lost both games to Roval this season, and Montrose have only lost 3 games for the season. So Roval for mine. The younger legs will, I think, will flourish on the Jubilee Park, the wide open spaces of Jubilee Park. So Roval for mine.
We should go through that too. The Divi 4 game between South Belgrave Sylvans at Mitcham.
Yes.
The Divi 3 game between Glen Waverley and Boronia is at East Burwood.
Yes. And
you just said that the Roval Montrose game is at Jubilee Park in Ringwood. So that's all the Saturday action, all the Choose Tap finals action on Saturday in the EFL. Sunday is another day, of course, and we've got more finals there. We'll come back and talk about that a little bit later on. But after this, Phil Merton.
Good kick too, went to Katsiavas, drop what he normally would have taken, runs around 1, runs around 2, steps around the body, Katsiavas, that is a super goal. That's his 3rd on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard and Ringwood's 10th.
Always good to check in with the EFL's Football Operations Manager, Phil Merton, on EFL TV. He's back at finals time. G'day, Phil.
Yeah, half. Good to see you.
You excited about the Choose Tap final series?
Yeah, finals are always an exciting time for everyone.
I can see that in your eyes.
Particularly with elimination finals, there's the last chance for teams to keep their season going. So, and the weather's hopefully getting a bit warmer.
Yes.
It's better to go to training and to go to games. So, it should be a good month or so for the EFL Final Series.
If I am a competing club member this weekend, what do I need to know about the guidelines about the EFL Final Series, the Choose Tap Final Series?
Look, the reality is the rules don't change during finals time, but our ability to be able to enforce those rules has increased a bit. The fact that we've got a full set of umpires at every ground, and we've got 3 umpires running across all finals,
all
so
games,
from seniors through to under 19s, and we've got ground managers there, and there's also more EFL staff there. So some of the things that may have been able to slip by the wayside during the season are things that we can pick up on, and we've had meetings with clubs to talk about what those are. So it's just making sure the conduct of all their players and officials is what it should be, and they're all wearing the right stuff, because we're all on show, so we want to make sure that we're presenting the EFL game the best we can.
And are all games videoed?
Yeah, so for all senior games are videoed during our final series. So we've done that for a few reasons over the last couple of years. One, we provide those to clubs to be able to review their games and also give them copies of their next opponent. We use them as part of what we might do on EFL TV and some stuff that we do for presentation item for our grand final luncheon, and it also helps to provide a bit of insurance if it comes to tribunal cases. So with all tribunal cases during the final series, obviously there's a little bit more pressure on everyone, and if you've got video of the incident, it helps take a little bit of the guesswork out of what might be for the tribunal members. So
good point.
We've done that for the last 2 or 3 years.
Good point. So don't get in a stoush, but if you are going to get in one, the melees, they sort of ramp up too. The sanctions handed down for melees during the final series.
Yeah, certainly. And we've spoken before about melees, and they are the most difficult part of our game to manage, because when a lot of people are involved, you can't identify who does what and specifically who's involved. So we've had a melee rule which has been in place all season, and clubs have been receiving sanctions for when they've occurred. And during final series, any melees get referred directly to the board, and they end up with pretty substantial fines. So the message is to players: don't get involved. There's video cameras there. There's 7 umpires on the ground. If someone does something stupid, they're going to get caught for it. So you don't need to run in and get involved in something which could escalate further. So stay out of it. Let the people who are in charge of the game take control of that, and things will sort themselves out. Keep
it clean, keep it above the belt is essentially the message there from Phil Merton. What about from a supporter's point of view? What do we need to be aware of?
Yeah, so look, obviously the wet weather we've had recently is going to impact on car parking inside of grounds. Traditionally, when I first started, we had drought in places like Boronia, where there's a lot of grassed areas surrounding the ground, we're able to put cars here, there and everywhere. But obviously with the wet weather, there's going to be limited parking inside ground. So don't come to the game expecting you're going to be able to park inside the ground. Think about where you might be able to park, and we'll put some stuff up on our website about what some of those options could be.
Good idea.
And also just make sure you're only parking allocated parking bays or allocated parking spots, because councils have spoken to us and they will have parking officers out in force. So keep away from getting up on people's driveway or getting in front of people's driveways, getting up on nature strips, etc., etc. So make sure you only park in the right spot and give yourself a bit more time, because there might be limited parking at some places.
My dog loves the footy, Phil. Can I bring him?
Yeah, unfortunately not half. The reality is we'll have some bigger crowds. So if everyone who wanted to come in was able to bring a dog, it'd create a pretty unsafe and uncomfortable environment.
Yes.
So while Paris Hilton with a small dog might sound okay, if everyone wanted to do that, as I said, it ends up being a pretty unsafe and also uncomfortable environment. So leave your dogs at home. Remember, there's no beer or alcohol. And also make sure that as spectators, we think one of the great things about EFL footy is that you can go on and listen to the coaches at quarter and three-quarter time, have a kick with your kids at half-time, but we don't want any spectators getting on the field during those breaks if there's anything going on between players. So we've seen in the media recently there's been some cases across various leagues of spectators getting involved in melees. And we want to get the message to spectators, well, they've got to stay out of that. Police will get involved, and there's also serious ramifications for your club as well. So represent yourself, your club, and your family in the way that you'd make them proud, so stay out of it.
Essentially, we're all on show.
Yeah, exactly. So as a league, people come to see how the league puts on the game. As clubs, people come to see how your club, not only as players, but as officials and as spectators, react and are involved in the game. And as we know, sometimes the media look to pick on the small things that might go on in local footy. So let's make sure that what gets represented as EFL footy over the next 5 weeks is something we're all proud of, because I'm sure we're all proud of the league.
I'll tell you what we're proud of, Phil. Any reference to Paris Hilton here on EFL TV is a very proud moment for all. Well done on that. Well done on the year so far. Hopefully it's a great finals campaign. Thanks for your time.
No, staff. Thanks very much.
Phil Merton on EFL TV.
First quarter, uncontested from the ruck. Farmer paddled it down to King, off to Lang. Has he snuck it home around the corner? Yes, he has.
Right, time now to get our teeth back into the footy action on the weekend. The Choose-Tap final series really heats up on Sunday. Benny Waterworth rejoins us again on EFL TV because it's elimination final day.
Yes.
Last chance saloon for all of these teams that are participating in Divi 4, 3 and 2 on the elimination final day on Sunday in the Choose-Tap final series. And we start with Divi 4. This is at Tormore Reserve in a game between Ferntree Gully and Nunawading. What's happening here?
Now, look, it's great to see Nunawading back in the final series. Haven't been there for a while, but also great to see Ferntree Gully. They've been there and done that for the past couple of years. Dan Senchik actually went out to Ferntree Gully training during the week and caught up with Coach Bernie Ryan.
Welcome out to Knox In Sports. We're here with Ferntree Gully coach Bernie Ryan, who's got a massive game coming up this week against Nunawading. Bernie, what's the rationale behind training out at InSports this week?
Oh, look, our ground's turned a little bit ordinary over the last month, and the guys have been doing it hard yards there, so we just want to freshen up a little bit, get the enthusiasm and that up, so that was the main reason.
The club made the finals last year and results didn't go the way they would have liked. What's the general mood amongst the guys this week? I mean, is there a burning desire to make amends for last year, and does that serve as some sort of motivation, or is it a clean slate?
It's an interesting point. I haven't even mentioned it. I mean, about last year and the previous year, okay, obviously a prelim and a grand final. I haven't really mentioned it. We've just got on with it. And even tonight, we haven't spoken about finals. I mean, the guys are upbeat. We've had 2 good wins. I mean, we went out to Forest Hill and that ground was pretty ordinary. And then, so we had a 5-goal win. And then the week before, we'd beaten Nunawading by 9 goals. So I reckon we've come up, after the 2 defeats against South and also the Basin there, we've got into some good form. And look, we're just upbeat. As far as we can go, it's good for us next year anyhow, looking forward.
And speaking of Nunawading, onto your opponents this week, you boys have a 2-0 record against them this season. First time around, you defeated them by 25 points. Second time around was 55 points, as you mentioned. The boys will be pretty confident going into this week's game. And have you had to drum into the side? It's a different ball game, finals altogether, and results sort of mean nothing coming into the first week of the finals?
I haven't mentioned that yet. I mean, briefly after the game, I said it's a different ball game. Well done on the home and away year. And then tonight, we're just enjoying it down here tonight. We won't talk anything about the game. We'll do that Thursday night. But it is a different ball game. But look, it's obviously good for the mindset that you've beaten this side twice this year. But then again, we're going out to Baronia. I mean, the wind factor out there, it's an open ground. I mean, if you don't play that ground well, we're going to come unstuck. So certainly we'll speak about a few things Thursday night.
Where have your side's strengths been this season in defeating Nunawading twice? I mean, they've got some pretty handy players in your sides. What's been the main reasons for the results?
Run and carry. When we play contested football, and we found that against South Belgrave in the Basin, we really struggled. We're not a big side. Obviously, we're a light side, and we've got to use that to our advantage. So if we can run and carry and switch, that's normally when we get on top of these sides. And the other thing is, look, we're pretty fit. You know, we're running games out as well, and I've found, you know, against Nunawading, when we did have a good win there, I mean, like we ran the game out and they were a little bit sluggish, but certainly they've got some good players. I mean, we can't underestimate them. I mean, Frank will probably come up with a different structure as well, so we need to be right on our mark that day.
Ferntree Gully have obviously had the talent on the park and everything like that, but taking on the role as coach, you've seen it all firsthand. What have you changed up as coach from an on-field perspective in terms of the way the team plays?
Obviously, when I first took the gig on and that, and they've been right up there, okay, we mentioned they played in the grand final, possibly should have won it, and then the prelim last year. Now, I watched a couple of the tapes there, and, you know, I was mind-boggled. Well, they're just playing old-style footy, just going down the line. So I thought the first thing is develop. How do you go about a new game plan and structures? Well, I needed to know, you know, the team in, you know, the team on paper and all this kind of stuff, and obviously the personnel that we had. Not a big side, so I can't just kick the football down the line, because we're going to turn it over. So we had to then develop that we're going to go out the back, we're going to switch, we're going to play down the lines that way and get a lot of run from our half-back line. So, yeah, we've changed a lot of things in that respect there. And even with the forward structures, I mean, we went this year with 4 different forward structures. Predominantly we've used 1 or 2, and that's just due to the personnel that we've got. I mean, certain kicking structures, we've worked hard in our forward zone. So a lot of these things have been new to the guy, other than just turning up the training. There's a lot of things I still want to put in place as well. But these things take time. I mean, as these guys take certain things on board, then we'll go to the next stage. A big thing's been our recovery this year, you know, our cool-down stretches. We threw a Sunday session at Listerfield Lake about 3 weeks ago. Leading into the new year, they're going to get familiar with that. I think that, you know, you come to this time of year, it can be that side that's the freshest that can get over the line. We talk about South Belgrave and the Basin, yep, they're hot favourites, there's no doubt about it, but there's no doubt about that they must feel the pressure. It would only be natural to go through a year when you're undefeated or only lost 1 or 2 games. To come the finals, if things are going against you, whether it be in one quarter, the third quarter, whatever, it's just natural that your mindset starts to doubt. So, look, we come into a final series, we're upbeat, we've got no pressure. You know, if we can win a game, then win 2 and possibly be in a prelim, well, it's all tick-tick for us leading into another year. And look, this year's not over yet. Might be over on Sunday, I don't know.
Certainly is another year, and finals is a different ball game altogether. Bernie, Ryan, thanks for joining us on EFL TV, and all the best this week and for the rest of the finals.
Good on you, boys.
How good's Dan going, Benny? That's outstanding from our man Dan out there.
He's doing a very fine job. He's a rising star of the media team, Dan, and I think he actually talked to the winning coach as well. Ferntree Gully should be too strong in this game. Bit too much experience. Good to see Nunawading in the final series, but Eagles for mine.
Okay, Divi 3, we have elimination final as well, and it's at Vermont on Sunday afternoon, and it's Ringwood taking on Mitcham. Much talked about on the forum this week, this game.
Yeah, there was a little bit of traffic going through the forum, and I think it's because these are really 2 proud clubs who've got a lot of history. Mitcham, the first time they've made final since 2003, and the first time for Ringwood since 2005.
Long time no final?
Absolutely, and you're not wrong there. And Division 1, they've been in Division 1 since that time, and now they're down in Division 3, but they find themselves at a Division 1 ground in Vermont. So plenty riding on this game. Should be a really emotive game, I think. Plenty of feeling between the 2 sides. But Ringwood play a finals-like game style. I think it's hard. They put lots of pressure on the ball carrier, and it helps when you've got 3 big guys up forward. Katsiavos, Lang and Farmer as well. So Ringwood for mine to bring Mitcham's season to a bit of it's going to end. Yeah, an end.
It's just going to stop.
That's the one, yeah.
Because elimination final, if you lose, you are out.
That's right, yeah.
It just stops.
It does stop.
There's no more.
Just like that.
But there is more elimination final action on EFL TV. Divi 2 game is going to be an absolute beauty. This game is at Jubilee Park on Sunday afternoon. Murrelbark take on Bayswater. Now, the Barkers had a bit of trouble with Bayswater throughout the home and away season.
They have. Murrelbark actually won 5 more games than Bayswater overall in the home and away season, but Murrelbark lost to Bayswater by 10 points in round 12, and Bayswater actually led led by 5 goals in round 3, but Mooroolbark were able to overrun them. So Bayswater match up pretty well. But in finals time half, I think the best midfielders in the competition really like to stand up. And I think Mooroolbark actually have the best midfield in Division 2. Cam Linford, Division 2 best and fairest last year across the whole competition. Trent Giorgio, Matty Polkinghorne, Mike Smith, if he plays, a bit of a question mark on him. But they've got the best midfield, and I think they'll be too good for Bayswater. And it also helps when you've got a guy called Kide Talevski up for kicking big bags of goals. Mooroolbark for mine.
Mooroolbark to win and survive in the Choose Tap Finals Series. Righto, where's the Caravan of Courage heading this week, finals time?
Both Saturday and Sunday. Half are going out there. We're doubling up, so plenty of hours going into the media team this weekend. We're actually out to Glen Waverley and Boronia for the Hawk-Off on Saturday at Eastfield Reserve. And then on Sunday, we're going to the game between Mooroolbark and Bayswater. I just had a bit of a moment there. Mooroolbark and Bayswater out there at Jubilee Park. 2 great games. Looking forward to getting out there.
It's going to be great. 98.1 Radio Eastern is the place to lock it on your radio dial. And, of course, streaming on the EFL website as well.
As always, from 2 p.m.
Outstanding work from you, Benny. Have a great weekend. Finals are a great time to be a part of the game of Australian rules football. Everyone at the EFL media team does an outstanding job. Hopefully that continues on the weekend. Enjoy.
Beautiful half. I'll see you next week.
And you guys out there too, enjoy your finals weekend. Hope your team wins. If they're not there, barrack for somebody else.
Kick inside forward, 50 over the top of Barling's hands, picked up by Clark. Snap around the body. That is a beautiful kick on the left foot by Clem Clark.